Welcome to the Spinning Rock Podcast. Conversations for the curious, the seekers, and the builders of tomorrow. With your host, Utkal. May these episodes move you, challenge you, and remind you of your place in the story. Please, enjoy.
Okay.
Hello,
Hi.
everyone. Welcome back to the Spinning Rock Podcast.
Nice.
This is Utkal, episode 4. Here with my friend Sheil.
Hello.
Coming in from New York.
Yep.
And we're going to dive into some of the biggest questions people have wrestled with for centuries.
Jesus. Okay. All right. I'm ready.
Questions about life, meaning, mortality, everything in between.
Okay. I'm intrigued.
Think of it less as giving answers and more about exploring perspectives.
Okay. All right. Noted.
Yeah, okay, so topic 1, I have suffering.
Oh, nice. My old friend.
Yeah, just a light topic right here.
Let's keep it light, yeah. Episode 4, suffering.
Yeah, that's the headline. Let's start with something everyone experiences.
Yeah.
Why does it exist? Is it a necessary part of growth or just a cruel mistake in the universe?
Whoa. Okay. Jesus. Well, okay. Why does suffering exist? If you want to go like the Buddhist route about it, suffering exists because want exists. And if you want something, there's the potential of not getting it. And that's the root of all suffering, I guess. But my video recording of us just ended, so sorry, fans. You won't get to see us. Yeah, I mean, I think suffering is a byproduct of wanting. If you never wanted for anything or if you never cared about anything, you would never suffer because it wouldn't mean anything when things are lost or when things don't go your way. So, like, if you want to be a driven person in the world and have goals and aspirations, you're going to sometimes not get those, and it's going to hurt. And that's suffering, I think. I don't know if it's deeper than that. What about you?
Yeah. Yeah, that's an interesting way of looking at it. I guess I mean, I definitely agree with that. I think that kind of suffering is pretty much essential to the human condition. Like, without suffering, like, pretty much anything would be meaningless. Like, if you don't like struggle for something and you basically have everything, then nothing will be worth wanting. But I guess I was kind of thinking about it like children, like innocent children dying, or like cancer that kind of like kills kids. Like, is that kind of suffering? Like, I guess that's one of the reasons like people are like more like atheistic. They kind of use that as an argument, like, oh, like, why does suffering occur?
Yeah. Well, so I think there's like a clear distinction between self-imposed suffering and externally imposed suffering, where like it's one thing if like you're walking down the street and a car hits you. It's not because you wanted or because you like didn't get something or lost a loved one. It's just something happened to you. That's a different kind of suffering. I think it also is like the difference between physical suffering and emotional suffering. Like, you can be hurt pretty badly or be suffering through cancer treatment, and you're suffering in a sense, but it's a completely different experience than if like a family member dies or you are like, I don't know, you lose your sense of self or something. Like, there's a completely different feeling of emotional suffering, and I feel like they're two different discussions. But I definitely like, I see the atheist argument of like, if there was a loving God and there was a God who like always wanted what was best for us, then like there wouldn't be so much random suffering and like kids just getting bone cancers and like, I don't know, genocides and stuff like that. Like, it is tough to justify a loving creator in that sense. But yeah, I do think it's two different discussions, like for the two different types of suffering.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's also just like an obsession with suffering within like cultures. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
They kind of use it as a way to support their argument.
How so? What do you mean?
Like, I think the other side would be like, suffering needs to exist in order to prove that there is a God, because, you know, otherwise, like, well, people have like free will, and so therefore, I don't know where I'm going with this.
I kind of see what you're saying, like suffering is proof that we can make our own choices because we can make the wrong choice, and like it's like you kind of choose your own path and you stumble where you stumble. Yeah. But I could totally imagine a world that still has free will, and you're still able to make your choices, but there's no inherent suffering because whoever created that world created it to pad for us to not have to suffer. But then that comes back to what you were saying before. Like, how would you even know what feels good if you didn't know what felt bad? Or like, why would you be excited about getting ice cream if you got ice cream whenever you wanted it? You know, it's like, I see what you're saying there. I don't know that suffering necessarily proves that there is a God. That's a much larger claim. That's a big, you know, a jump to make. I think like there could totally be a version of the life that we're living where people don't have to suffer needlessly. And there is a loving and caring God who's granted us free will, but protects us against suffering. But maybe that was asking too much. I don't know, you know?
Right.
It's tough.
So do you think there is like a reason for suffering to exist in the world?
I don't think so. I think ascribing reason to things as abstract as suffering is like a slippery slope. I think that everything is a product of action and reaction, and everything is like a little bit of chance and a little bit of science and a little bit of physics, and like things happen because humans have a natural tendency to act in certain ways, and human relationships tend to go in certain directions, and suffering is a byproduct of that. But to say like there was a reason feels like disingenuous. Like, how are you going to tell somebody who like their child passes away or something, or they have to go through a miscarriage, something like that, and tell them like there was a reason for that, like there was a plan behind that? That seems like cruel to even like say to somebody. But at the same time, I don't think anybody wants to hear that the world is like a random chance crazy place where anything can happen, but it does seem that way, you know.
Yeah. No, I agree with that.
Do you feel like the times that you have suffered have been for a reason, or like for some greater plan?
Yes and no.
Yeah.
You know, there's times where I feel like maybe this was done for me to kind of learn this lesson and see how I can not do it again. And that's where part of me like kind of like believes in a God of some sort. Like maybe this is like all part of a plan and I can kind of see like how it's falling. But then there's other times like you know, something just like randomly bad happens to me.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, oh, that was kind of more my fault, and it was because of my actions, and it wasn't really like just a random occurrence in the universe.
Yeah.
But even that, it's like you can kind of be like, oh, that was meant to happen.
Yeah. I like to steer away from like things being meant to happen a certain way, just because it freaks me out a little bit. You know, I think it's like too easy. Yeah. But I do like to think that like the bad things that do happen to an extent can be learning moments, or can be things that you use to make yourself better. And most people learn through adversity. You know, like if nothing challenging ever happened, you wouldn't need to ever change. But it's so hard to go down that path, because then there's so many things that happen to people where you're like, that person didn't deserve that, clearly is not better off for it, like didn't learn any big lesson. They were just like hurt in some way, and then they just have to find a way to carry on, you know? Like there is so much randomness to it. It's hard to put a hard and fast rule onto it, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so next kind of topic I have is do you believe like we make our own choices, or are our lives like kind of predetermined by like our biology and environment? So pretty much the debate of free will.
Yeah. So when I was taking like a neuro class in college, they did this study where like when they had monkeys that they were doing this experiment on hooked up to monitors of their like neurons, with certain very specific experiments, the neurons would fire that would indicate the choice the monkey was going to make before the monkey was consciously aware it was going to make that choice. Like it was an accurate predictor of whether or not they were going to look left or look right. It was something super simple. And like, I think about that in the sense of like, there's 100 million little environmental and biological and chemical things that happen before you make a choice. And of course it feels like free will sometimes, but I really do think to an extent, very little of it is free will. Like, you could say like, you went on a date with this girl because you chose her and you like her. But maybe subconsciously in there somewhere, there's a little bit of biological, you know, programming going on. Maybe subconsciously she reminds you of your parents or something. Or maybe like, I don't know, like a certain deodorant she was wearing smells like something that triggered something in your head and made you feel like you liked her. Like how much of that is free will and how much of that is like being influenced by other factors? So I think it's like 70-30. 70% out of your control and 30% in your hands, because it's also dangerous to be like, you don't really choose anything. It gives people too much of a free card, you know?
Right,
What do you think? What
so
your stance?
I think like intrinsically, like humans have always had a need to survive. And I think that kind of like goes, I don't know if it goes against free will, but like, I think that will probably overtake free will at all times. So
like
it's
your survival mechanism will.
Yeah. So
be
like
the
back in the day, like cavemen, you know, they were just wanting food and shelter. That was pretty much the mechanisms that was like driving them. So you know, they weren't like, oh, let me go like do something for fun, because they were always just thinking about food and shelter.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas like now we have like so many other factors that we're worried about.
Yeah.
That we still kind of come back to those main like components of life, which is shelter, safety, and kind of having like a place to belong.
Yeah.
So I feel like most of our actions are kind of based upon those things, and we kind of cloak it as free will.
Yeah.
Whereas we
I
think we have free will, but like in actuality we're just doing the things we were meant to be programmed as humans.
Yeah. I hear the argument you're making, and there are plenty of people who will say like almost anything you do is in service of getting either like social validation, food, sex, safety, or you know, something along those lines. But then again, that's where like the 30% versus 70% argument comes in for me, because there are certainly things that I do that aren't in pursuit of those base safety, like safety, food, sex, whatever needs, that are just, you know, just for like higher level, like fulfillment, or like a sense of, like you said, belonging. I think that's a good one. Like we do things just to feel like a group or feel like a community. And to a certain extent, maybe you could say that's not free will, but you could also say it is. Like, you're deciding to be a part of a certain group, or you're deciding to do a certain activity. I don't know. That's why it's hard for me to say, because it doesn't feel like I'm being ruled by other variables, but the argument could be made, and I wouldn't be able to disagree if someone said, like, no, everything you do is because of some other programming behind your conscious awareness of it.
Right.
Yeah. So I don't know.
So do you think that other percentage is like something greater than you that's kind of like causing you to give you that like inspiration, or like
it could
moving
be.
you?
Yeah, it could be
in a certain way.
Maybe it's like 100 things we're not even aware of. Like, maybe it's like I was saying earlier, like there's a smell in the air that kind of subconsciously guides you this way, or pheromones from someone else's body that your body picks up on but you're not aware of, or maybe the sun is in your eyes a little bit and you don't even think about it, so you turn left versus right, or like maybe you're remembering something that happened in your childhood and that's why you go into this store versus this store. How much of that is free will and how much of that is because of past events and past, conditioning? I don't know, I don't know. But I don't like giving people the out of being like, yeah, nothing is free will. Because I'm like, hey, if you piss me off, like, you decided to do that. Like, you still have to be accountable, Even if there's no free will, you're accountable to your actions. I will hold you accountable to I'm not going to be like, yeah, I'm sorry you were mean to me, but it's because your dad was mean to you. Like, I get it, maybe. Like, that's a reason, but it's not an excuse, I still want to act as if everybody has free will. Because then we can't have a society, if no one's accountable.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Like, the reason...
Yeah.
Sorry, I was just going to say the difference between excuse and reason is really important in the free will discussion, I think. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that kind of ties in to the existence of just an overall creator, which is obviously one of the biggest discussions of humanity, I'd say.
Yeah.
Which I've been really like diving into religion recently. I don't know. Just my entire life I've been just interested in theism. And I think it was just so poorly like explained to me as a kid, especially growing up like Hindu.
Yeah.
And there's obviously that, I speak Hindi, but there's a little bit of a, language barrier because I can't like read it.
Isn't it all in Sanskrit too? Like, it wouldn't even be accessible.
Right.
Yeah.
It's in Sanskrit as well. But yeah, it was never like kind of explained to me like, oh, like we actually only believe in one God. It's not like we believe in different forms of this God. So
yeah, it's a cool religion. I mean, there's just so much like color and depth and like, there's so many fun stories and like so many morals to be found in it. But yeah, I also didn't like get too deep into it, and like I think semi-recently I'm also like trying to like look deeper and be like, oh, what was being told here? Like, why were these stories told in this way? I think all religions were kind of just a way to pass down what that society needed morality-wise, and like how to give people a little bit of structure in their lives. And then people ran with it and made it whatever, It's a great way to control the masses,
Yeah.
So it's that as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't realize like most of the stories were like allegorical and like they're just supposed to be like, oh, like this person learned this lesson, therefore you can, apply it to your own life.
Yeah.
But I've been super interested in the resurrection. I don't know why. The resurrection of Jesus Christ.
Jesus, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that is the one true religion, so that's the one who got it right, Sorry, I don't mean that. I don't take that out. Edit that out of the podcast, actually. Sorry, can we start over?
Just offended 2 billion people.
Sorry, I didn't mean it. Sorry, Grandma.
So I don't know. I was like, okay, like if he did get resurrected, like if that actually happened, then like why hasn't it happened again? Like questions like that, like. So, and like, how do we know that the apostles were like telling the truth? Like, so obviously, some of them did not want to believe it. You don't think they were?
No, I really don't. I mean, I feel like, okay, we have like a historical record that Jesus existed, probably.
Yeah.
But anything more than that, the stories were written long after he died, and they were written by like fans. And so like it's basically fan fiction by the group of people who were like worshiping him. I feel like I should tread lightly here. This is like a lot of people's religions, but and I'm not going to say anything bad about Hinduism, so it's kind of biased here. But like, I mean, like, why can't we read it allegorically the same way we read like the Hindu texts? You know, like the idea of like self-sacrifice and like love for your neighbor and like, you know, all that stuff. Like that's great, but like, do I think a talking snake convinced the first woman to eat a magical apple and like that's what made humanity? No, probably not. I'm sorry. But, you know, I think they're all great stories. They all contain some sort of truth, but not truth in the like black and white on text truth way. Truth in like a there's something to be found there way, you know?
Right.
Someone's gonna dox me. They're gonna find the podcast and like, what did you say about my guy?
Yeah. There's definitely some crazy fanatics out there, but we're like, just having a discussion.
Yeah, with resurrection, my thinking on it is like, so God creates these people in his image, and he gives them the ability to choose and make mistakes. And if they do make mistakes, he punishes them for eternity. He kills them. Like, if they die, he sends their souls to hell. But then, to save humanity, he sends a version of himself down as his son to die for a couple days and then go back to God. It all just seems...
I think it was 30 days. Right?
I don't know. Yeah, I guess so. Because that's between...
for 30 days.
Yeah, between like Easter and... Yeah.
Yeah.
It just feels like... Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to badmouth the religion. It just feels like I don't know if I could take it on its word.
People saw him ascend to heaven.
People what?
People saw him ascend to heaven.
Yeah. You know, you're right. It is the one true religion. You got me, bro. You got me. I take it back. I can't believe. Yeah, I think they saw it.
One of like the biggest distinctions I find fascinating is that like some people think Jesus is God himself, while like some people think he's the Son of God.
I thought it was both. Like that's what the Holy Trinity is. It's like the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost, and they're all God, but they're like different parts, kind of similar to like the different forms thing that Hinduism does. Like they're all God, but the Holy Trinity of God is the Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost. You know?
Yeah, that's Christianity, right? And then like
right.
Catholicism is like it's separate, I believe.
I don't know, man.
At least from what I read. But then it's like interesting because like in like Judaism and Islam, like they recognize Jesus as like a prophet and
right.
like
but not
he basically like spreads
God.
the message of God, not God himself. So it's like I feel like all kind of believe in the same thing overall. It's just like different ways of like interpreting it and like getting to that point of an all-powerful being. Yeah,
they have similar first early testaments, and then they split off for like the New Testaments, and they go off in different directions off of that. That's why they're all the like I think in the Quran even it says that like Jewish people, Christians, and Muslims are all people of the faith. They're all like of the same, cut from the same wood, but they just have some differences on the details, which is a nice way to look at it, like the Abrahamic faiths all together. But again, now I'm out of my element. I was so much better at talking about suffering. I was like, let me tell you, but I don't want to be misquoting, you know, Christianity, you know.
You can't be worried about who you're offending.
No, I just feel like I'm saying stuff that's wrong, and then later I'll listen and be like, why did I say that?
Dude, I said some stupid stuff so far, so
yeah.
Let's go back to talk about weapons. It's more
so more for the listeners, I don't know if we want to tell them that like we recorded a whole half hour before
Sheil
this.
Fucked it up.
I was like, you know what? I think it'd be fun if I didn't record any of this and we didn't realize until after. So my apologies. You guys lost out on some really crazy stuff. Utkal was talking about his erectile dysfunction the whole time, and you would have loved to.
Maybe I'll just like upload my side of the audio, just like me like talking to myself.
It's you in a room alone, laughing. Yeah.
Yeah. So like,
why are you thinking about resurrection? Are you okay? Is everything good at home?
I'm down bad.
Yeah.
I don't know. Even before I was like down bad, I've been super fascinated with the idea of God.
Yeah.
Because I think I fall into the camp of people who like kind of like want to believe that there's a God, and like
it'd be cool. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, like right. Like,
if someone told me like this is the way and it's true, and then I got some sort of like holy like confirmation, and like the sky was like, yeah, this is true, that'd be great. I would know exactly how to live my life, and I would just do that. And that's why I think a lot of like really super hyper religious people are kind of happy, because they're like, I know what I need to do to live a good life, and I'm gonna just do that, and I'm gonna be happy forever. I just don't have that blind faith, I don't have it.
Yeah, me neither. And I've never been like stubborn, like, oh, there's definitely no God. Like, let me debunk your arguments. Like, I've always been like open-minded. I just like haven't been able to find God. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how to surrender.
Yeah, it takes a certain level of like shutting down the logical side and just accepting. I guess that's what faith is, right? Like, you're not supposed to like interrogate it too much. But
yeah.
I could see a world where there was a God, as in like somebody did create all of this, and maybe for a little while in the beginning they were tampering in, and then they kind of got bored and went to go to do stuff with another planet. And that's maybe why we have all this rich lore from earlier on, and then nothing new for the last like, hundreds of years, because he was like done. He was like, all right, I kind of messed this up, let me go try again somewhere else.
Yeah.
But then also, you believe in evolution, right?
Yeah.
You have to. You went to school for science. But like, so if evolution is true, at what point did God tap in? Like, was he there for the apes? Like, was he there like when we were like still in the trees? Like, did God evolve with us? Like, we have this really like closed-minded view of like it was just from like Jesus times or whatever, but humans have existed for way longer than that. Was that just a godless time?
Yeah.
Did he tap in once they started to look like him, and they're like, okay, now let's send down my son, It's interesting.
Yeah, wait, I was actually looking that up, like who was living around the time of Jesus Christ, and it was like at the height of the Roman Empire, where like Tiberius was the Roman emperor. So it wasn't like it was just like Jesus and like 30 people. Like, it was like a huge like civilized society, and like so much had already happened up to that point. So it's like, why at that point would it be like, okay, we need it, like God will be like, we're sending Jesus in for like
it really doesn't make sense the longer you look into it. Like, God, again, someone's gonna like throw a brick through my window, I feel like. But I really think, like, you see these people nowadays too. He was a charismatic leader who gave speeches that people liked, basically started a cult.
Yeah.
He had his ideas of what Christianity was, and it appealed to working class people at that time because it promised an afterlife that was better than the life they were currently living, and he like gave people hope, and maybe he performed some miracles. Like, I don't know about that, but like maybe something to like make people believe in him. And the Roman Empire saw that, and they were like, this is dangerous politically. Anytime a cult pops up and starts gaining traction in a big government, it's dangerous politically. So they're like, we got to take this guy out, kill them like they do with any other political dissonance. And years and years later, someone was like, oh, we could make a religion out of this. And then, wrote the scriptures and fleshed it out and used his teachings and a little bit of their own input. And there have been so many authors that popped in and out of the Bible and like wrote parts and put it together. And so it's this big amalgamation like of different people's perspectives. But it'd be crazy that God was like, all right, thousands of years of humans have existed, but I'm going to jump in right now and be like, now is when it starts. This is the story,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I think the name Bible actually means like library, so it's like pretty much like a collection of texts like throughout that time, like just put together. But
Yeah.
honestly, you might as well just drop your address right now. Just
I'm
get the
I'm
doxing
nervous.
done
I'm
already.
looking outside as if it's a live stream.
This is live right now.
But it's cool to see how what was written at the time was really catering and serving to the needs of the people who are reading it at that time. And that's why it's hard for modern governments to use passages in the Bible and to justify what they're doing. On one hand, they'll be like, oh, you shouldn't lie with another man, so we should ban gay marriage. But they'll ignore a whole other passage about eating shellfish or something because it just doesn't line up with what they want to use it for. And I don't know, maybe those things made sense in those times, and there were reasons why, even maybe not eating shellfish or not eating pig in the Quran or whatever, maybe to prevent against certain diseases that were really big at that time. It made sense to tell your followers, hey, don't eat this type of animal because the meat is generally spoiled. Whereas nowadays, does that hold up? Not necessarily,
Yeah,
it's written for the
super
time.
true. Yeah, I think one of the most powerful arguments I see for atheism is that people like me, people who have an open mind and kind of want to believe that there is a God, if there was an all-powerful, all-knowing God, he wouldn't allow that belief to exist, correct? Because
maybe, yeah. I mean, but then also
if there was a God,
care.
he would want people to know that there's God so that they can, follow the ways.
That's true. Yeah, he would at least make it more clear. He wouldn't have the person who told you about it be your pastor. He would come to you as a baby in spirit form and talk to you, or I don't know, something.
Yeah.
I
guess that would also be pretty freaky.
Yeah. But if it happened to everybody,
somebody you can't see, just watching over you. I guess if everyone also knows, then it's not as freaky.
And also, okay, I hate to just keep taking digs at Christianity, but if he had a chosen people, and it was the Christians and the Jews or whatever, why would he not just tell why is he telling it to the smallest amount of people possible and having them go spread the word? Why doesn't he send Jesus to every continent, or send him to every village, or make more kids of his that can pass on the message? It just feels all too conveniently human that oh, we have to now spread the word because our all-powerful God wants us to. Why does he want to play games like that? If he really was going to send you to hell for not believing in him, wouldn't he come tell you? This is crazy. Now we're going too I'm sorry, I'm getting too heated.
It kind of ties into suffering a little bit, maybe.
Yeah.
That would be the other devil's advocate perspective.
It's
they wanted him to suffer, so his message was even powerful. Because I think one of the apostles refused to believe for super long, and then he ended up spreading the message better than anyone else.
I don't know, man. Yeah, it's all very it's not convincing necessarily. I also can't go on the side of atheism either, because the same faith and belief that you make somebody say there's definitely a God and it's the Christian God or it's the Muslim God is the same faith and belief you'd have to be there's definitely no God and I'm 100% sure of it. How can you be sure of it? Maybe it's just in a form that you don't understand, or maybe he just doesn't care about us, but we don't know,
Yeah. No, I agree. I would consider myself agnostic.
Agnostic, yeah.
I'd never say I definitely know there's no God, because I mean.
Yeah, because how could you? It's not it doesn't line up with the scientific method. You can't definitively say something without proof.
It's also not very rewarding. Where it's yeah, I debunked all those fucking myths.
Yeah.
Now I'm just empty inside.
Right. I think, believe what you want to believe. I would never tell my grandmother, who gets a lot from it and prays every day and it seems to give her life a little bit of structure and a little bit of meaning. I would never have this argument with her. It doesn't matter. If you're using it in a way that's not destructive and it makes your life better, all the more power, sometimes when I'm having moments lately as I'm getting older where I feel suffering, or I feel lower than before, and I do find myself kind of leaning towards being maybe there's something out there. Maybe spiritually there's like some sort of plan here, you know, and it does give you kind of like a comfort. Like it's like a human need almost, you know. So I get it. I just don't think it's been written down yet, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. I think like praying and like meditation and all that, they kind of like tie in together. So like I feel like that's why people kind of get like joy from it, and they feel something. I get that. After
meditating while picturing something, or like having a place that you're putting that energy, can be so powerful. And if that's what prayer is for you, like I'm totally down for it, you know. I also like this whole new age like manifesting things. That's just praying with more spiritual talk, you know, like you're just putting your hopes and your desires into thoughts and focusing on them. And that's been around forever. It just feels good to do. It makes you feel like you have something to work towards and maybe someone's helping you. I get that, you know.
Yeah. And I mean, I feel like there's a reason why like literally every single culture like throughout thousands of years like kind of like has this same old question, like whether there's a God or not, because people kind of feel something like bigger than themselves. And
it's a scary world, and like it's hard when you don't understand it, you know. So it's nice to be like someone else has the plan, you know.
Yeah, true.
Like even the earliest religions were just like explaining why tornadoes happened, or like why it would rain some years and some years you'd have drought. People are like, it's far too scary to believe it's just random chance, which is what I went back to earlier in the beginning of the conversation, like about free will. Like it's scary to think everything might just be random chance. So it's easier to be like, well, we forgot to pray to the rain gods, and so we made him mad, you know. Like that's a nicer way to live, because it feels like you have some control again, you know.
Yeah. It's a tricky one right there.
Yeah. So I mean, in summation, I'd give Weapons a 7.5 out of 10.
7.5. I give it 8.1.
Yeah, you guys missed that too, but he gave a fuck ass rating 8.1, like trying to be different. It's fine.
What do you mean? How's that trying to be different?
I don't know. 0.1. It's all right. I'm just joking. Jesus is the Lord.
I wish that one wasn't deleted.
Yeah, me too. I'm sorry. That's on me.
That's okay. Yeah, this is just another random question. Is any act truly selfless, or do we always get something in return?
Oh, there's got to be selfless acts out there. I mean, maybe the thing you get in return is just feeling good about that selfless act you've done, which I guess makes it feel a little bit less selfless. But if there's no material gain, then I'm fine with it, you know? If you, like, save a child from a burning building at personal risk and, like, at great injury to yourself, and you feel really good about it after, I'd still call it selfless, even though maybe you did it to feel good, you know?
Yeah.
Why would you do anything without some sort of gain, you know?
Like, that's true. I think most things in life, people, or most transactions are, what am I trying to say? Like, most exchanges are transactional.
Yeah.
I'd say.
Yeah, definitely. Because like why would you do something with a net zero gain, or like, I don't know, unless it's a mistake, you know?
Even like relationships too, like, you kind of hang out with someone because they can give you something, like even if it's just like, oh, I feel good around this person.
Yeah, you have to. I feel like if you're in a relationship where you feel like you're only giving and you're not getting anything from it, or you're only you're constantly getting something from them, but they're like draining their life force to be with you, like there has to be some sort of positive transactional thing. That's why I feel like, I think a lot of people misunderstand like intentions behind charitable acts. Like it's okay if you feel like you're doing it for a reason that's a little bit about your own self-image, as long as the net is positive and you're like providing a good, I don't know, you know. But to answer your question, maybe no, there's no such thing as a fully selfless act.
Yeah, maybe. Why do you think that, like...
Me coming on this podcast was a selfless act. I was like, this guy, He needs this.
I kind of needed you. You're like carrying right
like,
now.
damn, this guy needs this. I just got to talk about septoplasty again.
Yeah.
Just kidding. I'm sorry.
So do you think like
billionaire,
a billionaire?
Why do you think he wouldn't like give all his money away, or not all his money away, but like why
be more charitable?
Or just like I think there's like some number in the billions that like would solve homelessness in America. Like why don't you think like a billionaire would
do that
way to solve that problem?
I think it's the paradox of like you don't become a billionaire if you're the type of person who would give all your money away to solve homelessness, because there are multiple steps between $0 and $1 billion where you would have done that. Like when you made your first $1 million, if you were that kind of selfless person, you'd be like, I don't really need $1 million. Let me give a bunch of it away. And then you'd never reach 10 million or 100 million. And maybe if you hit 100 million, you'd be like, this is genuinely enough money to take care of me and my family for a couple generations. Maybe I start investing in healthcare funding, or like I start putting this out, and you'd never reach 500 million or whatever. But to get to $1 billion, you have to have such a mindset of like, I only care about making more money, and nothing will stop me from making that money, and like I will do whatever I need to do to just keep getting more. It's kind of like a sickness, I feel like, because like you don't need that much money.
It's like an addiction.
It's an addiction, like anything else, like power addiction or like sex addiction or anything. Like it's compulsive to get to that amount. Plus, like if you're curing homelessness, or you're that's kind of like a slippery thing, because if you just give everybody all the money they need to cure homelessness and everyone has a house, you need to fund it in a way that makes people self-sustaining and allows them to then carry that forward. Otherwise, I think you're just creating a problem in the future where there's a bunch of people who temporarily had funding, and then once it stops, like what do they do? Like where do they go?
Yeah.
But if I could like redirect billionaire funding, put it into the schools, put in a lot of money into our school systems, put in a lot of money into our healthcare system so that people don't have to, go broke because they got cancer, put in a lot of money into building up more like homeless support shelters, or like, programs to help people get retrained for jobs. And like, there's definitely a lot more good that could be done. But that's just not the nature of the capitalist game. It's not monopoly,
Yeah, it's true. It's not like the money isn't like the problem itself. It's more like people not being financially literate. It's like a dilemma. Like, if all the money in the world were split evenly amongst the people, like it would go back to the same people within 5 years.
I've never heard that, but I guess I could kind of see the logic. Yeah, like some people would find a way to get more, and some people would squander it by accident, and like. Yeah.
Because it's all about like like financial literacy, like knowing how to invest, like spending habits, like.
Yeah.
People kind of remain the same.
But is that true though? Because like, let's say like, I'm sure there's a decent amount of the population who, if you were split the money up and they suddenly had access to enough money to cover housing and taking care of their kids and whatever, they would then, like, the barrier would be removed and they would be able to accelerate through the different socioeconomic levels and like would be able to make more money and be more self-sustaining. But because they're right now battling to make ends meet and put food on the table, they can't focus on things like investing or focus on things like getting more education or reskilling, upskilling or whatever. So I don't know that all of it would go back. I think there's a decent percentage of the population that would squander it, but I also think that there are so many people in America or in the world who just aren't able to show their true potential because they're like starving, or they're just like they're caught up dealing with medical treatments or whatever. But if they had that money, they would then invest it correctly, go and figure out, secure some land and build themselves up, bring their family to a better place. I don't know that it's necessarily true that everyone is only where they are because of their financial literacy. Some people are trapped in systems that don't allow them to grow.
No, I agree with that. I think a lot of it is also like the choices that they make.
Yeah, but like then it comes back to our free will discussion. How much, like, if somebody, there was a good, I think Kevin Hart was saying something about this in an interview I was watching, but he was like, if you go to, like, the poorer neighborhoods, you'll find a bunch of cash-only stores and check cashing centers, because the people who set up those communities know that they don't want those folks, setting up banking accounts and being able to build interest on their savings or whatever. They want those checks to go to cash, and they want that cash to go to, like, liquor stores, and they want it to go to, like, whatever in the community, the fast food, whatever. And that is a product of a society or a system failing its people and literally trying to inspire them to go in the wrong direction. If you go to, like, a more affluent neighborhood, you'll see a different setup. You'll see different things there. And if you're born in one or the other, it's hard to argue, like, oh, you chose to live like this. Like, no, you're trapped in poverty over, like, generations and generations, and everything around you is trying to keep you poor. So it's tough, like, is that free will? Because could you just choose to be like, I'm going to suddenly know that this is bad for me and do better? Like, no, and especially if you're not given access to the education you need to get out of there, it's hard to argue that that's all people's individual actions, You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah. I think, definitely the environment has a lot to do with it.
Yeah.
But I think also that would also make the statement true, because they are in that environment and they probably don't have, like, the resources that people in affluent neighborhoods have. So the money would go back, like, as fucked up as it sounds, it probably would go back to the same pockets.
Yeah. Well, I would like to think that for everybody who's trapped in a situation like that, there's a couple families that would be like, oh, now we don't have to worry about paying for food. Let me go, put some of this money in a savings account. I would like to think that there's
exceptions to the rule.
Yeah. Because that is the American dream, being able to build wealth and, like, move up generationally and, like, give your kids a better life. I think a lot of people would hopefully not squander the opportunity. And, I might be one of the people who lose the money really quick. Like, I'm not that financially literate. I just, like, got lucky into the situation I was born into.
Yeah, me too.
But yeah,
blessed.
That's some deep questions, brother.
Are you familiar with the trolley problem?
Yes, I am.
So if you're not familiar with it, it's pretty much a trolley coming down the tracks, and there's a lever, so you can either not pull the lever, and the trolley is going to run over 5 people, I believe.
Yeah.
And if you pull the lever, it'll switch tracks, and it's going to run over 2 people. So if you pull the lever, you're going to save 3 people.
Yeah.
And pretty much the question is, are you going to pull the lever or not?
And, it's fucked up, and I get why it's, like, a problem, because, like, it puts a lot of, like, moral strain on the person who's answering. But I think you got to pull the lever. I mean, because if those are your only 2 options, then you kind of have to just go down to base calculations and be like, well, I will save more people this way. And it sucks, and it's terrible, and you'll still feel terrible after. But on a utilitarian, like, you did save 3 more folks. It sucks, though. I mean, like, would you not pull the lever? Would you just let it happen?
No, I would pull the lever.
Yeah, does anybody not pull the lever, I feel like?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Have you heard, like, the second part to the trolley problem?
No, what's the second part?
So it's pretty much the same scenario, except you have to push a fat man instead in front of the tracks.
Wait.
Yeah.
Sorry. So I can hit 5 people, hit 2 people, or push a fat guy in front of the
No. So it's like, if you push the fat guy, he's going to stop it, and you'll only kill 3 people, versus if you don't push him, it's going to kill 5 people.
So is he one of the people dying? Like, he'll be like him and the 2 people?
Yeah, I assume so. He's one of the people.
I don't know why he has to be fat. I don't know how that adds to this in any way.
Well, he's got to be bulky enough to stop.
All right, if you have to push a Chinese guy, like, what does that have to do with anything?
Yeah, you're pushing a Japanese fat guy.
Oh, well then, yeah. I mean, so clearly I'm gonna do that. I don't know why
he's actually Jewish as well. So.
Now I feel like this is a loaded question. I don't know. I feel like again I'm gonna get doxxed. Like, I don't know. Yeah, I'd still push the person that you're choosing, whatever race or weight he is.
Okay, it's just
still less.
It's just a fat guy.
Here's my version of the trolley problem for you. One of them is your mom on the tracks, and the other one is 100 innocent people. No, 75 innocent people.
75 innocent people. I mean...
Yeah.
75 people are dying.
And she's fat and Chinese.
In my mom?
Yeah,
How'd you know?
Oh, Jesus. We gotta cut this podcast. We gotta take this off the web.
Wait, but
it's gonna be the
basically
worst
the second part. That was a real question.
Yeah.
Okay,
it's a loved one, and then it's 50 random strangers. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think the thing is that like most people answer logically to the first one. They're like, yeah I'll pull the lever. Yeah. But then when they're introduced to the fat person, and they have to actually like get involved, most people wouldn't do it.
Oh, is he fat just because it would stop the train?
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Okay, I was like, are you being mean for no reason?
That's just what I heard. It's part of the question.
Okay.
But it's like people think emotionally to the second one.
Oh, I see.
Versus
you're
logically.
Actually pushing the person.
Yeah, but you're saving the same amount of people as if you just pull the lever.
Yeah, it would be definitely a lot harder to actively push someone in front of it, whereas pulling the lever feels a little bit more detached. Yeah. And I could see myself being more okay with the lever than pushing somebody,
Right.
I could see that. Yeah. That's an interesting twist on it. They did like this weird experiment where like after World War II, they wanted to see if like evil was something that just like happens to some people, or if anyone is susceptible to being evil. Stop me if you've heard this experiment, but like they like got elementary school teachers and they put them in a room and asked them to like ask questions, like right or wrong questions, to someone who's behind a plate of glass. And if they got it wrong, they would push a buzzer and they would hear him screaming as if he was being electrocuted. And the person would tell them like, oh, he got it wrong, press the button, electrocute him a little bit. And he would like scream like in genuine pain, but just because someone of authority was behind them telling them, no, do it, like you got it wrong, you got to push the button. These like innocent school teachers were like torturing this guy. I mean, he wasn't actually being tortured, it was like an actor. But because they couldn't like see him directly, they could only hear him. And B, because there was a person of authority telling them it was okay to do, they found that like almost anybody's capable of doing like horrible, evil things if they're told to,
Yeah, I think I've heard something similar to that.
Yeah.
But you said it was in 1940s Germany?
No. This was after World War II, but they were just trying to figure out like, are Nazis a special breed of people who can be that evil? And they found like, no, anybody, even a school teacher, like an American apple pie school teacher can be evil.
I sort of like remember that experiment. I was like, I don't remember it happening in Nazi Germany.
No. Yeah. This was after, I think. I don't know.
Yeah.
Again, all this might be wrong.
That makes sense. Yeah. It's kind of like the Stanford prison experiment.
Yeah, exactly. Anybody has the capability to do evil things.
Yeah, it's like you put them in that role and they kind of morph into that person.
Crazy stuff. But yeah, I guess I would not push the guy, but answer my version with like a loved one on one side and, and like 50 people.
I would say the loved one just because I'm...
See, I would let all 50 of those people, I'd be like, I'm sorry, that's my mom, like I can't do that,
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Well, I think
that's tough.
Yeah, I think at that point you have to answer emotionally because we're emotional beings and...
Yeah. No, definitely.
Because people that don't like their mom are going to be like...
Yeah, you'd be like, let her go. Let her go.
Yeah.
That's good, man. I mean, we really talked about everything from... How did this start? You were just like, so what do you think about suffering?
Yeah.
And now we're talking about
I think
like,
that's
killing
probably
your mom
my
in
worst
the trolley.
topic.
You what?
That was definitely my worst topic. I don't know why I started with suffering.
Don't be so hard on yourself. It's only episode 4.
It's because I'm suffering myself.
Aw. That's so sad. It's gonna be okay, man. Me and your 8 listeners got you.
I mean, aren't we all suffering in some
I'm
degree?
doing okay today. I had some spicy ramen. That was pretty good. Could be
Carbonara?
worse. Yeah, with the cheese. It's so good. So good.
Yeah. Have you ever had the 2 times spicy one?
Super good. The bulldog one? Is that what you're talking about?
You like it?
So good. I love when it hurts.
What?
I love a little bit of suffering
I could,
in my
barely
ramen.
like 2 bites.
Yeah, it's not for everybody, but I love it. I love when it's just so unbearably spicy. I have to drink like a glass of milk while I'm eating it. It feels like an event, you know? It feels like that's my plan.
You ever
for the
been to
evening.
Dave's Hot Chicken?
I have not been to Dave's Hot Chicken, no.
Oh, they have like a Reaper tender you have to like sign a waiver for.
Yeah, that sounds brutal.
And it's like, I took like 1 bite and I was like on the floor dying. It was like just as bad as the bulldog one.
That's crazy. Now I'm like curious to see if I could take it.
Dude,
I'm gonna have to go.
There's one
to
in
go
Newton.
Try it. Yeah. Okay. Well, now someone can very easily dox me because you're saying town names, bro.
Yeah,
Oh
who
my God.
said you live in Newton? It could just
No,
be like
I
a
live in
place.
Ashton, bro. How about that? Anyways. Yeah, would you believe we've been talking for an hour? How crazy is that? It's gonna be longer than all your other episodes.
Yeah. It's gonna take like 7 hours to upload.
Yeah. How do you wrap these up? Like, what do you say? Like, are you just gonna be like, and catch us next week for?
Fuck you, bye.
Oh my God, that's it.
Nah.
Shit.
I don't know. Like, I'm not a fucking professional podcaster. I don't know.
You're
how
figuring it out. You're figuring it
Yeah.
out. It's all part of the journey. You should. You should
I don't
end
know,
by
I
like.
just say like, thanks for listening.
Yeah. You should
Um,
plug your socials. Be like, you can find me on. You can follow my new business on. You know.
Yeah. Go follow Sheil on Instagram. He makes some cool
don't do
art.
that. Again, I don't. I don't want any, you should. Don't even put my name on this. Just be like, and special guest.
You're part of the podcast. What do you mean?
No, just be like unnamed special guest. Like, tune in to find out who it is. Like,
It's gonna be like featuring anonymous source.
exactly. And then you could be like, if you figure it out, DM me, and they get a special like hoodie or some merch or something.
Yeah, you can send Sheil all your nice messages.
How you fucking said my name. It was great.
I introduced you in the beginning.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah. I mean, I'm happy if anyone listens, and I hope that it doesn't sound like too much nonsense. You know, we did a lot of rambling about religion and morality.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think someone will listen to it.
Yeah.
Some dude.
Well,
in...
thanks for having me. I appreciate it, and
Yeah, of
come
course.
back on for
This
any
is
other
fun.
episodes. Yeah. Absolutely.
I learned a lot. I just enjoy talking about these topics, and
Yeah.
maybe we can do one another time.
Sounds good, man. Yeah. Hit me up. Thanks
Yeah.
for having me.
Well, this is episode 4. Thanks for listening. Follow me on my Instagram. It's 135. Follow Sheil.
Undisclosed.
Undisclosed. Yeah, just you'll see him one day.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been
All right,
your
thanks.
host. Peace out.